DJ, vámonos.
Music by
Good morning.
Hello, welcome to Morning Ramblings, our podcastito where we talk about all things law, life, and business.
Good to see you again. As always, I'm Michael, and with my wife Alicia. Did you introduce yourself?
No, you're going first this time.
I'm going first? That's why it threw me off. Oh my gosh. So I'm Michael, husband to Alicia Wheeler, and just here for support and asking any questions that come to mind to make it more understandable for the subject we're talking about.
Yes, and I'm Alicia Wheeler, founder of Wheeler Law, lover of meringue cookies and lemonade today, and here to answer all your questions about our topic.
Awesome.
And so what we're diving into, our legal tea that we're going to be spilling today, is all about money and fees. If there's one thing you've probably heard on the media or news or social media is that it seems like almost every week there is a new announcement of different fees that are coming out.
HBO Max just increased their fee too.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Everyone's increasing their fees. And so, of course, the U.S. government also had to jump on the bandwagon and increase their fees for a lot of the applications that we do. So today we're going to actually talk about, I'm going to point out 3 of them, but we're going to dive into 2 of them.
Gotcha.
One, because one is a little bit outside of what, no, it's not as common, it's just not what my practice area.
Gotcha.
And that first fee, the one that we're just going to touch on, is the H-1B visa.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is the one that's becoming super expensive right now.
Yeah, so this is the H-1B visa. For an employment-based immigration. The government is now charging $100,000 to initial applications. So if an employer wants to file for an H-1B visa for an individual, they're now going to have to pay $100,000.
That's mind-blowing.
Crazy. I mean,
so that makes the rest of the fees not seem so bad.
I know, right? When people complain about $675, we're gonna be like, well, we could be paying $100,000, right? No, so it's pretty crazy. My office, personally, we don't do these type of visas, the H-1Bs, so I don't have too much information to share about it, other than it's a pretty astronomical price.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something we connect with in the future, an employment attorney, to see maybe we can have someone on to talk about that a little bit more.
Awesome. So getting into the more common topics that will affect your practice, what would be the first one? So the first one's the asylum fee.
The U.S. government is now charging $100 annual asylum fee. Prior to 2025, there was no fees associated with applying for asylum.
Ever, right? It was just the process, which may take a while, but this is the first time fees are being talked about.
And they would charge for like renewals of work permits associated with asylum, but never the asylum application itself.
Gotcha.
And so now they decided that every year, if you have a pending application, and these applications, like you said, can last 5, 10, 15 years, they're going to charge an individual $100.
Yeah.
And it's not just the person who's applying for asylum. If they have any family members under their application, they also have to pay $100.
Wow,
so it's per person. Yeah.
So yeah, when you talk about $100, okay, maybe that's doable. But if you're a family
of 4 or 5,
adding it up, that's just, I mean, especially with prices nowadays and inflation, it's just another thing to add on top of that, which is hard-earned money that people are working for. They're already trying to go through this process and make a better life for themselves. So it just makes the process more complicated. But
what I would like to understand, and I'd love for someone to explain to me the rationale behind this, is an annual fee. Okay, having to track down an individual and have them remember to pay this fee, and us, the government, meaning us, the government, has to send out notices to individuals to inform them that they have to pay this asylum fee. I mean, that's postage, that's processing, every single year. If you know that an asylum case generally takes 5 to 10 years, average it out, 8 years, okay, charge $800 a one-time fee for the average case value. Like, why do something like that? Why do an annual fee?
Maybe you know more about it, but I think from what I've briefly read about it, I mean, they're already having problems with the communicating the rollout process. The site for payment wasn't up. There's that question of it being communicated to everyone. So what if somebody doesn't know about the fee that isn't one of your clients and just isn't listening to the news or wasn't mailed a notification? They could potentially use that against them with their case in the future. That was the thought of the attorney that from what I was reading. So the fact that the whole process hasn't really been vetted and those questions haven't been answered, when it's already being rolled out and people don't even know how to pay for it. There was mass hysteria.
I cannot tell you how many phone calls my office got at the beginning of October, end of September, because some individual, somehow, this rumor got out on news media outlets, TikTok, Instagram, that there was this deadline of October 1st, that these fees had to be paid by October 1st, which was not the case by any means, and it just... people were panicking about if they didn't pay this fee online, they were being told their application would be denied. But really what was happening was USCIS was going to issue letters. Once you received your letter, then you can log on and pay that fee. And also, I have created a tutorial, a YouTube video showing you exactly how to pay that asylum fee if you've gotten one of these letters. So hopefully maybe we can link it. I've got that many calls. I was like, I just have to sit down and make a video. But... guess what? There's a new change as of October 20th regarding these fees.
What happened?
Okay, so...
let me guess, more chaos.
More chaos. This one's a little bit better. So you can file asylum with USCIS, the Department of Immigration, or you can file it with the court. Now, if you're filing with USCIS, you are receiving these letters saying, hey, you have to pay this annual fee, pay it online, pay it within 30 days of this letter. Okay, that's fine.
Makes sense.
So, but the court cases, they still haven't established the best system of how they're expected to pay those fees. It's not the same process. And so there was actually a lawsuit that was just filed on October 20th regarding these fees, and the government has announced that if you are in the process before an immigration judge, you do not need to pay the $100 fee as of this moment. So again, that could change in the future. So if you're watching this, a couple weeks, couple months later, definitely be sure to check what's most up to date. But for now, if you have a case before a judge, for an asylum case, you hold off on paying that fee until we have more information.
Gotcha. Well, hopefully, especially with the court case, hopefully the news that comes of it in the process, the updates are communicated clearly and in advance so that people can feel confident about the process.
You know what's crazy, Michael? I can go on a tangent about this. As you can tell, I'm very fired up about this. I know you were not as excited about the topic, but this is driving me crazy. But let's think about it. If I have 150 clients applying for asylum, 150 times 100, which is, do the math.
15,000.
That's how much the government's getting just from my office alone.
$15,000.
Yeah, $15,000 just from my office alone every single year. And then times that by how many law firms and immigration cases there are, the government is getting a lot of money from these applications. What are they going to do with it? Where is this money going?
I don't think those questions have been answered, and if they have been, they're not telling us. But
so that's a serious concern for me.
I mean, this asylum process is to help people that are in a terrible situation come to a better situation. So I would hope that the money would be to improve the system and the process and make it smoother. But nowadays, you just never know. So.
Well, and one of the reasons why this process takes so long, especially before USCIS, is because they have to go to an interview before an asylum officer. And there's just not enough asylum officers who can handle these interviews, which is what causes the extreme backlog. So maybe it'll go to pay and train and hire more officers, one could hope.
Hoping for a more efficient process is the best we can.
So that's the $100 asylum fee. If you have any questions, definitely follow us along on social media. This is something that I'll be posting on frequently. And if you have any questions, you can always call our office as well.
Yeah, so it's not like a fee that you're creating that you're just charging people more. It's a fee that the government is doing that we're trying to stay on top of.
Correct.
There's going to be a lot more changes and a lot more hammered out processes that come. So Alicia's here for you to update you as needed. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll have updates in the future weeks on the podcast as well.
Yep, absolutely. And so that was 2 of the fees.
All
Now
right,
the
let's
third.
get lucky number 3.
Lucky number 3. So also recently that came out, I think it was last week, the government announced that individuals who are entering the United States on a parole document now have to pay a $1,000 fee when they enter the United States. So that is for our advanced parole. So
Is that like right when they enter?
still unclear because it just came out. However, I did see when an attorney post on listserv an actual receipt of one of their clients coming back
Okay.
in where they literally had to pay the $1,000 for
Wow.
an entry, and they got like a printed receipt you get like at a grocery store.
That is obnoxious. But also, I don't care who. Not everyone is going to have that $1,000 on them. So
Well, they're going to have
it
to now. You have to be
it
prepared
just
before you leave the
is
country.
something that people will have to be prepared on and be ready for.
Yeah.
And also, if you can't leave and come back, then maybe it's safer to not.
Yeah, so it definitely depends on the case. So most frequently we do advanced parole for our clients who have DACA. With DACA, you can apply for a travel permit that allows you to return or to leave the country and re-enter lawfully. Once you have a lawful entry as of this moment, you can apply then for adjustment of status, which we've talked about in previous videos, because you have a lawful entry into the United States. If you're married to a U.S. citizen or you have a child over 21 or someone who can petition you for that process. A lot of our DACA recipients entered unlawfully, and so they're not able to take advantage of that process. But if we send them out on advanced parole and they have a valid reason to travel and then they come back in, it immediately triggers a lawful entry and we can do adjustment of status from that. So with that kind of application, that's where they're going to be charging the $1,000 fee. And also some other $1,000 other types of advanced parole. That's just one example. But that also doesn't exclude the 630 filing fee that you pay to get the travel document. And then once you leave, then it appears that they'll then be either charging you at the border or sending you an invoice later on to pay another $1,000.
It adds up.
Does it? Does that make sense? I don't know.
No, the cost adds up, not the...
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. That part doesn't add up. But I assume with this there's still a lot of questions surrounding it. And
yeah, like I said, this literally just came out. None of my clients who are going through this process have encountered it yet. We still have some petitions that are pending, so we're going to wait and see kind of what's happening. So it's still very new, but I just, every week we're finding out there's a new fee, a new cost, whether it is to prevent people from being able to take advantage of these programs. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. But again, it's the processing part of it, right? Like, if you want to charge an additional $1,000, charge it up front. Make the filing fee $1,630 instead of at the end. Unless it's like just for those who actually get approved. I don't know. It's just kind of pretty backwards for us, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But at the end of the day, I mean, you guys are being transparent about everything that when someone comes in here, and if they are potentially going to be facing these fees, you guys are transparent up front about the new process, and we'll update them throughout it. So it's nothing that you guys are taking advantage of. I know that other people have walked in here saying that other attorneys have quoted them astronomical amounts and fees that don't make sense. This is not one of them. This is something that is becoming a requirement, even though we may not agree with it. But you guys are handling it as transparently as possible.
So that's a really good point, too. If you're in the process of hiring an immigration attorney, definitely make sure that you have a good understanding of what services what they're charging you include. Do the attorney's fee include paying these filing fees? Majority of the time the answer is no, because it's not a fee that's going to the attorney. Like my office, our contracts are separate. In our contract, it literally says, these fees cover the actual legal services, but they do not include any filing fees. Gotcha. So anything like this, the filing fee would be separate. And the government also is no longer accepting money orders, so there's like a credit card authorization form that you can do. And so they'll just automatically debit out of your account, or sometimes the attorney will collect the fee and then provide their account information to make sure, it's processed fine. But those fees are generally separate, and it's not an attorney trying to take advantage of you. Unfortunately, it's the times that we live in right now. There's always been fees. They just unfortunately been increasing, and then there's been new fees added in, especially in the last 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, and with all the changes, I mean, it seems like the goal is to deter some people from going through the process. And yes, it may be hard doing these fees, but we still stand by going through the process and doing everything that you can to not let this deter you, and to get go through the silent process, go through the
The advanced parole.
Help me out here.
Yeah, sorry, I was following what you're saying.
Don't just stare at me.
I can't help it. Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, it really depends on your goals, right? If your goal is to remain here in the United States and obtain lawful status, the fees are an investment in you, and they're an investment in your future, and that's what you have to think about it.
Yeah.
These fees are really providing you protection and guarantees of being here in the United States. And so it's worth it for that journey, right? We pay a lot to have our home so we can feel secure. We pay a lot for our cars so we can get around. This is just another one of those expenses that you need to save up for, be able and willing to pay so that you can obtain those protections, and have an opportunity to remain here in the United States. Now, of course, does paying the fees guarantee you documents? No, they don't. You still have to be approved and meet the requirements and things like that. But it's how you get there.
Yeah. So even if you're not at the point of coming in here, not have to pay the fee, and just starting to set aside that rainy day fund for this is a smart idea.
Yeah, if it's something that you're interested in the future, definitely start, create a separate account, put a couple, $15-$20 in every month, and so you can save up for those fees for sure. Even like what we were talking about naturalization, you have to wait 3 to 5 years before you qualify. Start saving up now, putting $5-$10 in a month now will be a lot easier than potentially coming up with the full fees when you're eligible.
And things are going to continue to change, so you don't know where it is. So
Absolutely.
This is could be just the beginning. So just don't let it scare you. Just prepare. Come to Alicia for advice, and we'll keep updating you. And to kind of wrap it up with the final sip.
The final sip is definitely check online to make sure that you're paying the appropriate filing fees. They're changing almost weekly. There's different fees coming out, so to make sure that there's no processing delays or problem with your applications based on fees, because they will return your packet if the correct fee is not provided. So definitely check on the USCIS website to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information regarding the fee required for your application.
Perfect.
Okay, have a great day.